On the news tonight, federal government unveils $1 billion renewed hope social protection programs. 2027 general elections. INEC stakeholders advocate inclusion of IDPs. Plus, inauguration of new AFAN executives Remo Zone. Stakeholders highlight farmers' role in nation's development. Good evening and welcome to the news at 7. I am Fatima Hassan. Thank you for joining us tonight. 7.6 million Nigerians are said to benefit from a $1 billion renewed Hope Social Protection Program as the federal government unveils Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project, Hope SP, as a new pathway to poverty reduction in the country. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, while unveiling the initiative, says the Bola Tinubu administration is implementing far-reaching reforms to lay a solid foundation for sustainable growth and shared prosperity. State House correspondent Nta Ijebu reports.
3% national figure. Poverty rate in Nigeria is a critical subject matter, serious enough to attract stakeholders at the national and subnational levels as the country takes another bold step to drive poverty reduction with the official unveiling of Household Prosperity and Empowerment Social Protection Project, a $1 billion renewed Hope Social Protection Program by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu.
Unveil programs in the Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction Ministry.
An initiative of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction under a new national architecture, Hope SP, was unveiled alongside 4 other initiatives: one humanitarian, one poverty response system, ministerial blueprint, emergency cash transfer program, and the Humanity First magazine to improve the lives of vulnerable individuals, families, and communities across the country.
The first initiative, the Household Prosperity and Economic Social Protection Project, is an important strengthening how to identify and respond to vulnerable households facing various challenges by listening to their specific needs before taking action. It is designed to provide immediate stabilization assistance while placing the households on a pathway to recovery, empowerment, and self-reliance. The second initiative, the One Humanitarian Poverty Response System, is designed to provide a coordinated national response to humanitarian crisis, social protection, and poverty reduction.
Under the third and fourth initiatives of the program, identified households will benefit from emergency cash transfer program to mitigate financial shocks, while the fourth initiative, the ministerial blueprint, will provide a clear roadmap for translating the humanitarian and poverty reduction priorities of the renewed hope agenda into coordinated and measurable action.
Lastly, the fifth initiative, the Humanitarian First magazine, is remarkable because it tells the stories of citizens whose lives have been transformed by government intervention.
How do we achieve this? It will be supported by unified data and registries, digital delivery system, financing architecture, identifying the vulnerable household, registering them, doing a need assessment, having a targeted response, and then a graduation, what we call a poverty graduation pathway.
Launching of this program will go a long way in addressing the root causes of the insurgency in Nigeria, addressing the socio-economic and political dimension of the crisis, the sine qua non to addressing insecurity challenges in Nigeria.
The ceremony adds another for the vulnerables in the country.
Business like selling something in the house will help me very well.
I have a kiosk, and I'm trying to see how I can enlarge.
Development partners lauded the initiative.
We apologize for the technical glitch. Federal government intervention designed to reduce the cost of transportation for federal civil servants under the renewed Hope Mass Transit Scheme is set to take off with the inauguration of 50 buses. Aman Jabane reported that the buses are from the 100 units approved by the Federal Executive Council. The report.
And for the benefit of federal...
The vehicles provided by National Automotive Design and Development Council are expected to address daily commuting needs of public servants. With dedicated, affordable and reliable service, the federal government intends to ease the burden and improve punctuality at departments and agencies while promoting well-being activity of the workforce.
What indeed for me is a dream come true is taking place, and that federal civil servants will now have the benefit of a luxurious ride from home to the office.
The intervention places welfare at the center of the federal government's economic reform program.
Imagine what would have happened if we were going to import 200 of these buses. We'll be exporting, jobs abroad. But the fact that these buses are all assembled in our country, the jobs are provided, incomes are made and all of that. So I feel very happy that the Ministry of Industry and Investment, particularly one of its agencies, the NADDC, has been part of this and made this to happen.
This strategic intervention delivers an immediate, practical, safe and comfortable and highly subsidized affordable mobility solution. By introducing this type of vehicle, which the civil servant will be using with top technology available.
These buses will soon start plying the streets of Abuja as soon as the ticketing and the routes are sorted out. And civil servants are expected to make best use of this mode of transportation. And one interesting aspect of these buses is that it can cover up to 200 kilometers when the batteries are fully charged, and it can take up to 50 passengers, both sitting and standing. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
There are renewed calls for the full inclusion of the IDPs ahead of the 2027 pool. This is coming on the heels of the perceived growing concern over the potential disenfranchisement of numerous internally displaced persons. Timothy Yusuf reports that Independent National Electoral Commission, South African and other electoral stakeholders are driving the move to reverse the growing trend.
Findings have estimated that more than 4.6 million Nigerians are displaced across Adamawa, Benue, Borno, and Kaduna states, with about 2.4 million potentially eligible to vote at age 18 and above, underscoring the scale of the electoral inclusion challenge ahead of the 2027 polls. Stakeholders gathered here argued that the displacement caused by conflict, insurgency, flooding and other humanitarian emergencies should not deprive citizens of their constitutional right to vote.
A democracy is strongest when every citizen can participate, regardless of disability, displacement, geography, gender, economic circumstance, or vulnerability.
The INEC National Chairman, Professor Joash Amupito, has reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to ensuring that displacement does not become a barrier to voting. Represented by the Director of Gender and Inclusivity, Dorothy Bello, INEC believes that the right to vote is a fundamental constitutional entitlement.
Ensuring that meaningful electoral participation for internally displaced persons requires sustained mobilization, sensitization, coordination, and partnership. Together, we can strengthen public confidence.
INEC, the national and state emergency management agencies, camp managers, humanitarian organizations, civil society groups, and displaced communities are enjoined to develop a practical roadmap with clear responsibilities and timelines ahead of 2027 general election. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The African Democratic Congress governorship candidate for Ogun State, Jimmy Adebisi Lawal, alongside party delegates, has paid a courtesy visit to the Ijebu Ode Traditional Council. These visits form part of the campaign's ongoing engagement with traditional institutions and communities across the state to strengthen partnership and promote inclusive governance. Moses Olaiton completes the report.
Addressing the gathering, the ADC governorship candidate Jimmy Adebisi Lawan pledged to work closely with traditional rulers, community leaders, and relevant stakeholders to advance development in Ogun State. He highlighted education, healthcare, and security as key areas of focus, while describing the visits as an opportunity to seek the blessings and support of the traditional.
I needed their blessings and their support to be able to move forward. So it's the foundation. We came to lay the foundation today. It's of significant importance that the foundation is properly laid. When the foundation is not properly laid, you cannot build on it.
The Traditional Council welcomed the delegation and offered prayers of wisdom, peace, and continued progress. They also emphasized the importance of collaboration among governments, traditional institutions, and the citizenry for a sustainable development. The acting president, Ijebu Ode Traditional Council, Oba Lawrence Jaroba, explained that the visit was an opportunity for the candidates to solicit the council's advice, noting that the traditional rulers do not engage in partisan politics, but can offer guidance and prayers for political leaders.
It's just a courtesy visit. Many of our children who says they want to visit us, we can't tell them not to come. They will come, they will tell us what they want, they will do when they get there, and we will listen to them. You see, like Oba, we cannot be partisan. We can't play politics. So, but if they come, we only pray for them and ask them to go.
In Ijebu Ode, Moses Olaiton, NTA News.
We'll be right back after the commercial break. Please stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for rejoining us. Farmers have been described as a critical players in Nigeria's drive for food security and economic development. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector, including the chairman of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, AFAN Ogun State Chapter, Alhaji Nuru Abdulrazak, made this known at the election and inauguration of new AFAN executives for the Remo zone of Ogun State, which took place at the Ewusi Palace in Shagamu. Correspondent Adwala Elufowojo has the details.
Deputy Chairman, All Farmer Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, Pastor Abiodun Akinwale, while administering the oath of office to the executive members of AFAN in Remo Zone, comprises of Remo North Local Government, Ikenne Local Government, and lastly but not the least, Shagamu Local Government area, and joined them to be good ambassadors of AFAN in Remo, Ogun State, and the Nigerian as a whole.
It's for them to be proactive with the assignment given to them, to be honest, to be open-minded, so as to be able to carry people along, especially the grassroots. You know, the federal government is focusing on our women and youth these days. so as to engage them and encourage them in agriculture and food security.
Ogun State Auditor General of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, who is also AFAN Chairman in Remo North, Chief Kehinde Adetola, AFAN Chairman Ikenne Local Government Ayodele Shufola, and AFAN Chairman Shagamu Local Government Area Fatai Oludausi expressed their gratitude to God, pledges their allegiance and loyalty to AFAN at all levels.
To see them performing and to be optimal in their activities. All the assignment that has been entrusted into their hands, they have to put it to practice and make sure that they don't let us down.
We had the plan of helping each other, and also especially me as the chairman, I had the plan of helping them, giving them what me I have, like the knowledge that me I have, by teaching them, okay, you can plan this, if you plan this, you will gain this, this one is like this one is like that. So
I'm going to advise my people that farming work is good. We would like to call our children to tell them, doing farming, don't realize that I'm a Thai man or something like that. There's nothing there. The only advice I can let everybody go back to farming.
Chairman of AFAN, Alhaji Abdulrazak Nuhu, charges the newly local government executives of AFAN in Remo Zone to take the association to greater heights.
They should carry their members along, and we want everything, as President Tinubu promised to help the farmers in Nigeria. I advise them they should let everything get down to the grassroots farmer.
They should let all the benefits reach all the grassroots farmers, most especially the practicing farmers, not portfolio farmer or political farmers.
From Shagamu, Agbola Ilufowoju, NTA News.
That will be all for tonight on our English news. Join us tomorrow for more interesting stories. Have a wonderful night, choice.